this message is going to be my thoughts on men. And it's so funny because it's actually not bad. I just realized the facial expression is like, no, it's not going to be. I was just aware of my facial expression, but I was thinking something else, but I was like, that was not the look I was trying to do. But I don't want to edit this. So again, here we go. Anyways, I'm Jalana, and this is Healing Some, Triggering Others. The title tells you everything. So let's just dive in. This actually came because I saw this post, and basically somebody called in a talk show, and they were basically saying them and their wife have been married for 10 years, and they used to be like an athletic couple, and she just kind of like let herself go, and he's never told her, like, you know, he's never put her down. He's not like trying to say, oh, I want you to, you know, get healthy or in shape or anything like that. But he misses the way that they used to be, like doing activities, and also her confidence specifically has really taken a toll. Okay. And so I'm sure you can imagine the comments, which were like, oh, I want to see him since Mr. Jim, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like totally shaming him for all of this. Now, you hear his voice, so it's not like you're just reading what he wrote. Like, you're hearing his voice, you're hearing the context, you know, well, maybe people aren't, but you hear the tone, you see the context, and it's somebody that's literally like asking for help to another man. Even the person that they called were like rolling their eyes as they were listening, so it was very obvious that this was not in any way, shape, or form acceptable. And I did make a comment, which I haven't checked because I'm sure it's not. I don't think the replies to what I said would be would be positive. Just with seeing it seemed kind of like a mob of groupthink. But anyways, you could look up what groupthink is. By the way, just side note, everyone, please read George Orwell's 1984. That's all. Just with everything, just read that. That's all. Just a little side note. Anyways, but I think that truly being an individual is not just agreeing with what everybody thinks at all times. And you don't have to like do it in order to be like a, you know, like, oh, I have to mix it up, and you know what I mean? I have to make sure that I say the opposite of what everybody thinks. No, I genuinely, I think that it's wrong for them to shame him. I think it's actually great that he was honest and vulnerable. Now, here's the thing, and obviously I'm going to give my opinion, right? Men are shamed for telling the truth, but then they're shamed for lying. Men are shamed for telling the truth, but then they're shamed for lying. And one of the things that I said in the comment, which I really believe is, we villainize men. Now, there are men that are villains, okay? So if you are a villain, if you are a goblin, if you are an ex that is blocked and is somehow watching this, if the only people that get blocked are the really insidious people. I don't block everyone. You know what I mean? If you're insidious, or I think you're gonna try to come back and I know that you don't have good intentions, those are the only people that I block. Those are the only people. Otherwise, I could just unfriend, and by the way, there's people that I've unfriended, like, you know, as the new year started actually, and just as I changed my life, and I have absolutely zero issue with them. Like, it's completely neutral. I don't really have an issue with them at all. But it's just not, you know, I wanted to either keep my private accounts private, or we don't really talk, or, I mean, there are some people that just treated me a certain way and ignored me a lot, and just they didn't really show the same effort that I would in relationships or friendships. So I was just like, that's just not somebody that I'm going to keep in my life. So there are people that but I just unfriended them. I didn't have to block them. But if you were blocked, you might be a villain or a goblin. This does not apply to you. Get the fuck out of here. But let's say you genuinely, like, let's use that guy as an example, since that's what I've already started with. He was honest about how he felt. And I don't think it was just, and I think what people read and heard, you know, through the lens of, oh my God, he's body shaming her. He's telling her, like, what if she had kids? What if she's doing this? Is he cooking? Is he cleaning? Is he helping? And going from this narrative, it's just like automatically he's a villain. like automatically he's a villain. We haven't heard from the wife. We don't know what's going on. But basically he was saying that they started to do like a workout program together. So he wanted to do this activity together with her. And, you know, as a little bit of time went on, he was like, you know what, I'm going to stick with it. So he was also like trying to be consistent with it. And then she just completely gave up and she's like, I'm not doing it at all. Like not like in the future, or it's just like not at all. Like I'm just not going to try, and you should just accept me for exactly who I am. I do not expect any person to just accept me for who I am. I like people that are constantly trying to better themselves and at least try. I don't believe in life it's about perfection, but when you just say, because I'm a woman, I don't have to fucking try, or because I've had kids, and we gonna go there, because I've had kids, or because I married you and gave you a chance, or because I cook and clean, I don't have to try in any other area. I don't care how you feel. I don't care what your truth is. I don't care what you think. I am a woman, and therefore you cannot say anything to me about anything. I absolutely am against this. When did we get to a place where men are automatically villains? Now, I'm not talking about the actual villains and goblins, but I'm saying like people that are immediately villainized just because they're a man, or because they tell somebody like how they feel in the most sensitive way. I felt the way that he said it was absolutely sensitive, but even if he said it the wrong way, I still think you could tell from the tone that he wasn't trying to put her down in any way, shape, or form. He was also saying that he was working on himself and he wanted to do that activity together. So that he said they were an athletic couple. I'm guessing they used to work out together. He misses that, okay? So he's saying that. But when is it where that's okay, but in society, women empowerment is taking zero accountability? I'm not for that. No, I'm a very self-motivated person, and let me just say this before, I don't care about the hate, but I'm used to it, but I used to weigh 40 pounds overweight or whatever. I've lost weight, I think 3 times in my life, where there were just dark seasons or whatever like that, but I was self-motivated, and I'm not dating anyone. Why am I in shape? Why is she training? Why is she taking care of herself? Because I love myself. My body. I have self-love. I have self-respect for my body. But if I was with somebody, I'm not going to lose myself. I'm going to actually do more and be more motivated and stuff like that. Not because I'm afraid they're going to leave me for somebody else, or it's about perfection, but it's about I'm going to say it. Ooh. We should strive for more than just being fucking mediocre. And I am telling you that I have been a person that has been mediocre, that has stayed small, that has made excuses, and then I looked to blame everyone outside of me, but it's my childhood, it's this, it's that. Yes, those can be factors, but at some point you have to just say, why am I not willing to change something that would really make my partner more attracted to me, where we could do more activities together, so it's a way to connect. And also, I'm sure in the bedroom, they want to connect. Because when you mentioned the fact that her confidence really took a toll, I don't feel like if somebody is super insecure that they're going to feel that comfortable showing their body and being intimate. And a lot of times, especially if your love language is quality time together, right, which kind of alludes to that, just the way that it heard, and also physical touch. Physical touch isn't just about sex. Okay, you know what I mean? And we're just, so for those that are just oh man, all they want is sex and stuff. Well, women, all you want is money. So we're gonna go by stereotypes, and I am gonna defend men here because I think that I don't think I need to be another woman that defends women. I don't think so. Listen, I can empower women by telling them the truth, and you can watch my other videos, and I support women 100%, and I encourage. But I will, if the roles were reversed, I would still say the exact same thing. We have to learn to take accountability. We have to stop making excuses and saying being mediocre. That does not mean perfection. That does not mean that you are forcing yourself to work out over and over again, or that you have to be a certain size, or that you have to be a certain shape. That is not what I'm saying whatsoever. But I believe in being healthy enough that you can do activities with your partner. And let's say you're not, or let's say there's an illness, or there's something that is a genuine thing that you cannot do, then that's a completely different story. But he's literally describing that they were an athletic couple. So that's letting me know that, she was athletic. And the idea is not to say, well, I did this or I did that, so I don't have to do anything more. I don't have to care about how they feel. I think that's completely wrong. I wouldn't want to be with a guy that let himself go. You know what I mean? And I don't mean just physically. I'm saying, like, let's say I'm with somebody and they're just like, all right, I don't have any fucking goals now. And like, you should be happy because I like married you, or I pay a lot of the bills, or you know what I mean? Or I provide, I protect when we're walking down the street. Like, no, the whole idea is when people fall in love and when people say, hey, I don't want to, I'm not just falling in love, but I actually want to be with this person. I'm very guilty of this, so I've definitely made mistakes. So I'm gonna say that right now for anyone that watches that knows me. But you need to really look at the character of that person, and you want the character, the thing that made you fall in love with them. Yes, it's so much more than the superficial, but you want to do things. Like if I know that, you know what I mean, I take hikes with a partner, and then it's like, okay, we're never gonna take a hike again. Like you could take a hike, like, you know what I mean? Like that's not what I signed up for. And the whole for sickness but this isn't a jail sentence. You know what I mean? Like this is supposed to be the partner that you spend the rest of your life with. And if you consider, them as like your best friend, which I think is super important. Like if you're gonna date somebody, they need to be like the closest friend. They gotta be like, let me tell you what happened today. And they're just as excited as you. The person that you don't just, it's not just, oh, I have a relationship with them, but I can't talk to them or they don't listen. Somebody where you can just have deep conversations, and then you can have spontaneous sexcapades, and then at the same time you can also like cook together, and you randomly say, let's go here and let's do this together, where you both have excitement, but you also want each other to grow. I want somebody that holds me accountable in continuing to be the person that I am today. I mean, I don't really need it, I don't think at this point, but I'm just saying, like, I would want a partner that wouldn't want me to lose myself. And I don't mean physically, where they're like, hey, did you go for a run today? I'm not talking about that, but I'm saying, especially because I want kids, I want two healthy adults and partners that are consistent, that are disciplined, that are, you know what I mean, all these things. I understand that's not for everyone. But the key is, he's saying this is how it was, not I'm trying to change her from who she was before. And I understand that life can definitely get in the way, but I think there's a difference between saying, hey, you know what, I'm not gonna do this workout or that workout, but I am gonna do it like maybe once a week. Let's do it together as an activity, right? And they're at least trying. But when he said she just stopped, like she's just like, she completely, and he felt like he got the wrong end of the bargain because he's still trying. You know what I mean? He's still trying and she's not trying. I think that is an absolute, I mean, I don't know the person, but I love that. I would rather somebody tell me the truth about how they really felt instead of lying to me. So, and that's the whole thing about this channel and the other, social media platforms, and when I do these, vlog style things, is that I don't want a comforting lie. And I think when you can face yourself and you can face the truth, and again, this is going to heal some, and it's going to trigger others. I'm pretty sure this one will probably mostly trigger, but nevertheless, I'm not trying to be negative. It's just, I use data and pattern recognition of what's happened when I've said what I thought in the past. But nevertheless, like, if you can look past disagreeing with me, and you can just kind of say, like, it's a cop-out and it's an easy way. Being mediocre is the easy way. Not going after your goals, saying, oh, I can't, or judging other people because they, they're in shape or they're this or they're that. It's a cop-out. You can. Unless if you physically cannot, you can. I want you to think about that. Unless if you physically cannot, you can. When I start training for running, and I was losing the 40 pounds, I could not even run half a mile, which I understand a lot of people be like, oh my God, I can't run half a mile. What is she saying? I'm not. I'm just saying I'm an actual runner, so that's why that's all. Okay, so I need to run more than half a mile. That's all I'm saying. But what I started doing was walks, and then I would do slow bike rides, and I used to do it with one of my partners in the past. And so that was an activity that we would do. So I wasn't able to run with them. I don't think they were a runner actually. But anyways, if they were, we weren't gonna run, but we did do slow, long bike rides and stuff like that. So there's certain things that you can do. Now, when you're healthy, I'm not talking about your weight, I'm not talking about your size, I'm saying when you're just healthy, when you're eating healthy, when you're eating right. And I don't believe in, well, for me personally, I don't believe in calorie restrictions, or I just protein. Just get a lot of protein. That's it. Get a lot of protein in you. That's it. Like, I mean, yeah, there's other things, but I'm just saying, like, I don't count calories and stuff like that. And yes, you could be like, oh, but you have a fast metabolism. But I was 40 pounds overweight. So that is possible. It does take a long time to get there. And I was like not living a healthy life and was going through a lot. And now there is no excuse. The last time that I gained a lot of weight, it wasn't 40 pounds, but I went to Italy, and I'm sorry, but that's my excuse. I'm gonna stick with it, and that is me not taking accountability. But I did take accountability later, and then when I moved to Northern Ireland, that's when I started to get, you know, back into shape. And then it was difficult. I felt it was difficult, not impossible, because of the weather, and I just haven't typically ran in -2 degrees Celsius, which that was a bit. But I did it, and then eventually, yeah. So then as time went on, I got into better shape. But saying all that to say, like, I want to be the best version of myself because I want to be the best version of myself, not for anybody else, but just for myself. But if I was in a relationship, I definitely would want to continue to be the best version of myself. I'm not going to make an excuse and say, oh, well, I can't because of this or I can't because of that. If somebody tells me their truth and they're like, hey, I love you, we haven't, and it doesn't even have to be physical. Like, so you have to understand, like, maybe it's something like we used to always go out to eat, or we used to always go to art museums or do something that we love, or we used to read together. Like, one thing I would love to do on like a Sunday, if it was raining, depending on if it rains, because it sometimes does, like where I live, it's like it virtually rains, but then I've been like, that actually looks like rain, so I don't know. But if it rains, or we'll just say it's a cloudy day, and it's a Sunday, you guys make a big breakfast together, and then you just lay on the couch, and I'm like probably laying in their lap, and then they're reading their book, and then I'm reading mine. And it's that quality time, it's that connecting. Or, even better, we read a book that was like actually like philosophical, and then we discussed it, because I'm such a nerd secretly, so I would love that. I don't know why I got so excited about that, but yeah, so that's something that I would love to do. That has nothing to do with the physical, right? That has to do with intellect. Hopefully they can read. That's kind of a prerequisite. So now you could say, oh my God, she won't date somebody that doesn't read. She's so superficial. I hate this bitch, but I can't look away. But yeah, reading I would really love that. A lot of people are surprised that I do read, but yes, I actually can. And actually, the funniest thing, which, yeah, it kind of catches them off guard. I won a library award in high school for checking out the most books. I didn't finish all the books, and I didn't even know that there was an award, but I found that out when I won it. So I definitely checked out a lot of books, and I don't know, I've always wanted to learn about so many different things. I was always a curious child. I always asked why. And I think the more that you learn, the more you realize that you know absolutely nothing. And so that's my mindset about things. But of what I do know, I will share. And I could be wrong. And again, I'd like you to, well, not again, but let me just say, I'd like you to think for yourself. But when it comes to this, yeah, I think take accountability. You know what I mean? Like, if you're not even trying, and it could be anything. If it's just something that you guys used to do together, you know, and they say, hey, I really miss doing this, you know, no, I'm not gonna do it. I'm a woman. I'm an empowered woman. I don't have to have a man tell me what to do. Please. Therapy. You need therapy. And if a man is that way, or if a man is like pushing you far beyond, because let me also explain. I also wouldn't be up for dating a guy that's doing like marathons on the weekend, every weekend, and they're always in the gym, and then they're like, listen, if you have a cabinet of vitamins and supplements, I don't want to date you either. That's not for me. Because that's a very rigid lifestyle, but also you want to be with somebody that isn't on a bike or running for like a majority of the day. Like, so that way you can spend quality time together. So, you know what I mean? I think it's just like, you know, but if you are connected, and one of the things that you connected with is fitness, is working out, I do believe that you don't owe it, but you should say, I care about my partner more than excuses. And I would say this the exact same way if it was a woman and a man. And, you know, because we do that as well, us as women, right? You're just, okay, so if he just like, quits his job, doesn't give a fuck, lays on the couch or plays video games, you're gonna tell me that you're not gonna be like, you're gonna be like, oh my God, I just love him for him. Like, no, if he was, a go-getter, it doesn't even have to be financially, but just like passionate and working on, his purpose and stuff like that. Because a man needs purpose. And I'm just gonna say this. I don't have to be a man, I know it, a man needs purpose. If you are trying to keep him away from his purpose, that is not a good relationship. A man needs purpose. I want a man that follows his own purpose. We can connect, we can do things together, we can love each other, but you have to have purpose. You have to be passionate. That's one of the first things. Like if you have a job or a career, oh, I make 6K, that means shit to me. You just, okay, so you have a job and you make 6K. That's great, not 6K, but I mean a six figure. I mean, maybe you make 6K, but I don't know, maybe that's very specific. Or maybe you make 6K or you make six figure. But the point is, do you have purpose? What are you and who are you besides where you work or where you went to school? And that's more directed at people from the US because Lord knows. But around the world, a lot of people judge based on that. But I just think it's important. Like, what is your purpose? What are you passionate about? What do you ultimately want to do? What are your goals? And all these things, right? But I do believe in being healthy. And that's not just about the physical, that's the internal. What you eat, what you're putting in your body is actually affecting you more than you know. That affects your mental health, that affects your physical health. And I mean, yeah, anyways, I think I've said enough about being healthy. The other things are codependence versus independence. I'm gonna sidetrack from that. But don't be codependent, be interdependent. So if you're a woman that's just like, I could do everything all by myself, which I can, I literally can. I protect, I provide, I literally can. But if I'm going to be in a relationship with somebody, I want them to be in their masculine energy and where I feel safe enough where it's like, okay, I get to be the divine feminine and I get to receive. And that doesn't mean that I just say, okay, I'm never gonna do anything. No, I think that's being entitled, but I definitely want somebody that's a protector and a provider, and I'm perfectly fine with that. I don't need to lead. It's actually, I mean, if you're a person that is a natural leader and you are, like a protector, provider, and you're a female and, you have your own businesses, you have I wouldn't say financial freedom, but you are relying on yourself to make money and you have businesses and stuff like that. I don't hate men, so even though I've been traumatized by some, I don't hate men. I just don't like villains and goblins, pretty much, okay? But I feel that a man that protects and provides, I think that's wonderful. Like, why do I have to do that? I don't need to do that. I don't need to prove something or do that. Now, that doesn't mean I'm a person that's like, okay, now because he protects and provides, you have to get me the latest purse, the latest this. No, it's not, for me, it's not about money. I care more about the character of the person. I care more about how they respect me and I respect them. And I believe that there's other ways that you can, exchange different things and stuff like that. But I'm not a 50-50 split person at all. I think that's so, I'm trying to think of a word other than that word. So maybe what that means is I shouldn't say any of those words. So in different cultures, everything is different, I understand, but I'm not for it. I'm not for that at all. And I used to be like, oh, well, I should, because no, I shouldn't. No, I shouldn't. I don't have to. It's not about being entitled. It's just like, no. Like, I'm not going to go on a date, like, even with a partner, and then you're like, all right, this has been amazing. All right, honey, so how are we going to split it? 50-50? Like, here we go. Let me take out the calculator. That's so not divine masculine energy, But I also think that there's ways that you can do other things and that you can, provide as a woman. I don't believe you have to, do that. And I think truly a man in his masculine energy, he's going to want to protect and provide. If he's not, you might be a side piece, or he's just not in his masculine energy. I said what I said. I really believe that. And I think that today we've normalized it so much. Now, I understand there are different cultures, so Nordic culture, the way, part of that, but in different cultures, I get it, but I'm just talking about more so, let's just talk about South American, let's talk about the US. Let's talk about those specifically, since I have some experience in both, and I'm from the US. Yeah, I'm not a 50-50 person, so just saying that. And I think high value women, even if they can do everything on their own, they, it's interesting because a lot of times, and let me go back, men will feel like, well, why does this person need me? Like if they protect or they provide, and a lot of times, being hyper independent, it's just like you don't really give a space for, for that person to feel needed, and it's just like, why am I even in your life? And a lot of men, I think deep down inside, you want to feel needed. You want to feel like you're contributing. Like, I think it's in your actual nature to protect and provide somebody that you love, whether it's your mother, whether it's your family, whether it's your girlfriend, your wife, you know what I mean? Sometimes even your side chick, I don't know, maybe you're trying to protect them too, but like the whole idea is, hopefully, please don't have a side chick. Just in case for anyone, like, let me do a disclaimer, please. If you do, you're gonna end up on Maury. Just don't do it. I don't even know if Maury is on anymore. Actually, it probably isn't. But if it is, I'm just saying. Anyways, some people will be like, "What is Maury?" Anyways, off topic. So the point is, I'm going all over the place, but we're gonna bring it right back. Okay. You want to feel needed, right? And for me, like, I love the idea of not having to do everything on my own. It doesn't mean that I don't have goals and dreams. Absolutely. Like, here's a great example. Let's say I went on a shopping spree, and it wasn't this major thing where I'm gonna like run up the person's credit card. But let's just say we go out and I can buy the clothes, right? For, let's say we go into a store, but he brings out his card and he buys it for me. For me, there's like my inner child or the little girl in me that just, it's like in that divine feminine, like receiving, and I'm so thankful and I'm very appreciative. Like, if anybody's ever bought me dinner or done anything, I'm very appreciative. I'm not just like, okay, like just expecting. It's like, it's a beautiful gesture, and you just feel protected and you feel provided for, and you just feel like a princess. And yes, I said that. I like to feel like a princess. But I also would then take the money that I was going to spend, and I'm probably going to go and invest it. So it's not just like, okay, I spent their money, now I'm going to use that. No, I probably will take that money, that extra money, and then I'm going to go and invest it for our future. So you got to think about it like that, right? There's certain things you can do. Also, there's little things that you can do. So it's like, if a man is very much like, he likes to provide and protect, but let's say you go out for something like ice cream or parking, or sometimes, honestly, if you go out to dinner, just surprise them. And like, there's ways around it, women. So if you have a man that he's like, no, around me, I always pay, you know what I mean? He's like one of those kind of guys, which is not a bad thing, but there's a lot of testosterone there with that. Like, you just have to like, be like, oh, okay, I'll be right back. I'm gonna use the restroom. And then you give the waiter your card. And then you come back, and then they know. Now, hopefully they don't have like anger issues. They don't like slam the table like, I always pay. Like, they like have a scene. That's not the one. Like, you need to leave him. But these are the weirdest analogies. So sorry. I'm just saying literally without filter, whatever comes to me. But yeah, I'm just saying, I think that you can also do that. And also you can give them gifts and stuff. I think men also love that as well. Like, they love to protect and provide, but I think they would also love it. Like, okay, something that's not monetary, surprise them with a massage, surprise them with like their favorite food, even if you're not that good at cooking, or maybe you are, you can order it or something, I don't know, but just surprise them with that. If they look sexy that day or something, or you like what they're wearing, or you like, how they do their hair that day, or for me, I love cologne. Ooh, I have to stay away from men if you have cologne, because that's my sense is like you have certain colognes on, I'm like, get away from me. But like, you can compliment them on it and make them feel like they're your man, and like they, and this is supposed to be for men. So anyways, okay, off topic, sorry, I'm a woman saying this. But for men that don't feel appreciated, and you feel that all that you're worth is your money, I want you to get out of this habit. And I know it's just like, well, didn't you just say you want shopping sprees and them to do this and them to do that? I have had dates where we're walking in a park, and I loved it. And we had great conversations. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like, oh no, it must be a dinner date and it must be this, and how expensive was the meal? Because men that have money, they will just try to do that to be flashy and stuff, but that's typically sometimes hiding a whole bunch of insecurity. Unless if they can do it, they can afford luxury with ease, and they just want to enjoy a nice meal, money isn't the issue, then that's different. But there's so many beautiful and wonderful people that maybe you feel like, okay, well, women, they'll only want me because of this or that. Work on yourself internally. So that way you can remove those insecurities, and also that way you actually have boundaries when those types of women come your way. Because there are women that literally just want your money, and there are men that literally just want your body. Okay, so I'm talking about people that are well-rounded, no pun intended because of what I just said, and want somebody that actually has more than just looks or more than just money in the bank and stuff like that. They actually want to know, like, what, are you a loyal person? Do you have, self-respect for yourself? Do you take care of yourself? Are you disciplined? Are you easily manipulated? Do you let people walk all over you? Or are you overly dominant to make up for the fact that you don't feel masculine enough? And then you're like, no, you're gonna respect me. So I absolutely believe, me personally, and this is, again, somebody that's a former hyper independent. I mean, I technically am still hyper independent, but like, just because I am not not by choice, I just am because I have my businesses and I'm single. But a lot of times I forgot what I was going to say because I was just trying to nail that point, and then I'm just like, oh, but being hyper independent, where there's so much more that you can still provide, and people aren't always just looking for your money or how you look and stuff like that. But I do believe that it's important to say, I want to be the best version of myself in every area. And like, if you have a specific type or a type of person or a general type of, like, I'm not just talking about physically, I'm talking about like, okay, I want somebody that's into this and this and this and is like this, then you also become that person, right? If you want somebody that's confident, that's respectful, that's, that has these qualities, then you need to be that kind of person that attracts that caliber. And I definitely believe that overly masculine men, but not overly in a negative way, but like healthy masculine, they're not into overly masculine women, right? And I think there's a time and place. So like, when I'm in a relationship or I'm with somebody, if I feel safe with them, sometimes I should not have felt safe, but I'm just saying, I become very feminine. I've become like that little girl, that playful, part of me comes out more, and I just want to like cuddle and and just, I'm very nurturing, very like opposite from the personality. I don't have many personalities, like I have multiple personalities, but I have many different sides to me, and I think I'm just multi-dimensional, I guess you could say. Yeah, actually, I meant multifaceted, but I guess maybe I'm multi-dimensional at this point. I'm kind of like an alien, but nevertheless, that side comes out. So if you feel that way, and I think a man loves that as well, because it's like, this person is like a boss, in the world, but when they're home with me, they feel safe. You know what I mean? They come home to comfort. They, if they have a problem, they want me to help them, and they talk to me about it, and they trust me to also lead. They trust me to get things done. They trust me to protect and provide and do all these things. I think that's a huge compliment to a man. And I understand, and I'm gonna wrap this up because this did not go I didn't know what direction it was going, but it's just like, it's like a winding road. But anyways, men, I understand that a lot of times you're villainized and you're not appreciated. But I'm gonna say, and I'm just one woman, and even though I'm not dating you, I appreciate you. If you aren't out there hurting people, if you're a hard worker, if you're working on a passion, and let's just say like no one believes in it, they believe you're wasting your time, you should just do this, or you should just get a job, or you should, whatever it is, that's a specific message coming from somebody, go after your goals. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm proud of you because you haven't given up and you keep going forward, okay? And I think that that's super important. It's about not giving up, and just know that there is at least more than one person that would be greatly compatible with you, but it's more about the energetics of people that create the connections. So I don't believe in swiping right, swiping left, because let me just say that. I was a Tinder queen back in the day, and I just named myself that. That was a self-named title, I don't even know, but I was definitely a Tinder queen, and I'm single, so I just want to let you know. unless if Tinder gives you therapy, pays your therapy bill, it is not the answer. Now, there are people that I actually became friends with, and then I had no issue with them, but it just was like, friends or whatever, and it just, yeah. But no. Women, oh my gosh. Just Netflix documentaries. Do not become a person on a Netflix documentary, especially if you light up the room. And this is a joke that I heard before, so I'm totally repurposing it. But if you are a person that lights up the room, you do not want to be on a Netflix documentary. No. The right person will find you at the right time. And I truly believe that. I don't care if you are like me, where I only go out to run and that's it. Like, you better catch me, because you got 1 hour of me walking around. Like, I honestly think that, I'm not just saying this isn't an advertisement, really, it's not. I'm extremely specific, so I would probably say no to about 99.9% of people, even if they tried. Really, I'm very specific. But I feel like if there was somebody, and I believe there is, it would probably be through social media or randomly seeing me. But typically, I just feel like it'd be, because there's no other way that you're gonna find me, unless if you literally do ayahuasca and Ayamadre gives you my coordinates. You're not gonna. I'm just saying, it would have to be a spiritual connection. That's really important to me as well. Having a spiritual connection. But I say all this to say, if no one appreciates you, I appreciate you, even if I don't know you. Keep going. Fuck the haters and the women that are trying to use you. You're so much more. You have more value than just what you can provide. Okay? So I know I said all that, but yes, it would be nice to do it. But also, you want somebody that can appreciate even the small things that you can do, right? Just like I'm not even just saying this. There's literally been times where we just went out and then somebody got me like an acai bowl, or they got me ice cream, and I love ice cream, and I was just so happy. Like, it literally, like, it was just like, and it's something so simple, and obviously it's not a lot of money, clearly, but for me, it was just the idea of it. It's just the idea that somebody is like, you know what, I want to buy her this ice cream, even though it's something so small. But I think if you are with a woman that appreciates, it doesn't matter how big or how small it is. And also, they're going to be able to, I'm talking about ice cream. I'm joking, bad joke. I'm not going to cut this out, whatever. This is how my mind is. It's like, my mind thinks very fast. So it's like, I'm talking, but there's like other thoughts that are going on at the same, there's a lot going on in my mind, and I had coffee before this, but back to what I was saying before that, extremely inappropriate joke. How do I finish this? How do I end this? Because again, the whole idea is I don't want to edit this. You'll find the right one, and maybe she'll have dark humor, or maybe she'll at least appreciate you, or I don't know, but you'll find the right one. But just work on the internal more. Make sure that you heal the internal, because that's going to be the most important part when it comes to you being a partner, when it comes to you being a father, if that's what you want, when it comes to you being a leader of the home. And I do believe in that, and whatever. Y'all can come after me, I don't care, because I'm protected. I got all my crystals, and I have protection from the top of my head down to the soles of my feet, so I'm not worried. But yeah, that's it. And now I am gonna have to edit, where I'm gonna have to splice the video, because I'm pretty sure this is longer than 10 minutes that was intended. So I'll have to do that, and then it'll be part 1, part 2, but there will be no edits. So we'll keep all this in. And I don't know who we are. I love how I said we will keep it. I'll keep it all in. And hopefully you can follow, because that was all over the place. So, okay, I'm Jalana, and hopefully that healed some. And I don't care if it triggered others. If you watch to the end, then yeah. And I guess, what do they say? Like, subscribe. I really don't care, but if you'd like to like it, you can. Or just change your life. That would mean more to me than liking this video. It's like crazy, because it's almost like, even if you were like, oh, I really like what she said, I probably said then something else that you're like where you're like, that's healing, and you're like, oh no, she's triggering me, and then it's like, yeah, but I do agree with that. So I get it. It's very complex. I'm very polarized with my beliefs, and I know some things are very controversial. Other things you're like, yeah, I agree with that, and you're like, oh no, I can't believe she said that. So that's me. So, okay, I'm Jalana, and have a great day. And yeah, that's how I'm gonna end it. Okay.